Whether you are a full-time seasoned seller that's been doing this for years, selling on Poshmark, or if you're pretty new and are just kind of getting going as a hobby seller, everyone can benefit from improving their listings sometimes. We're not perfect. Our listings go up. Sometimes we're in a rush. Sometimes we have a virtual assistant doing it for us. And so it's not our best effort, or it's not complete, or there's just some things that we could do to make it better and sell or sell for more money. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about things you can do to improve a listing so that you can get it to sell faster or sell for more money. I've got 6 things for you. Let's dive in. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. Before I share with you the 6 things that I have, I do just want to quickly mention, if you haven't seen some of my prior videos, I do have a lot of videos about strategy, and strategy is one of those things that is going to help your items sell. If you're not sending offers in a certain way or a certain amount of times, if you're not relisting, if you're not utilizing all of the tools in your toolbox to be a Poshmark seller, then you are also missing out on sales. So today we're going to talk about things that you can do to revise or improve your listing itself. But if you're not doing like the sales generating activities that I talk about all the time, then you are going to miss out on sales. And so some of the videos you can look for are my perfect Poshmark sales system, or my shoppers videos, or the offer to likers video. And you can just search Rebecca the Reseller offer to likers and those videos will come up, because you want to make sure that you're doing both things, that you have a really good listing, but then you're also doing those sales generating activities or strategies to get your listings sold and influence buyers to buy from you. So let's get into the list of 6 things that I have. So first, you need to start with, should you be selling this item after all? So we've all had it where you started Poshmark, you were excited, you were listing things from your closet, maybe you bought some things at the thrift store to sell, maybe a friend gave you some things, you listed it, and they're still sitting there and you're like, okay, well maybe I can improve this listing. Rebecca says she has some ways to improve the listing. I challenge you, before you start improving the thing, to go back and just say, should I be selling this? Is this something that will sell eventually if I make some improvements, or is this just a bad buy and I should cut my losses at this point? Because when you go to improve listings, you're spending time, and your time is money. You could be using that time to go sourcing. You could be using that time to photograph new items or list new items or whatever. So you want to think about, before you start improving a listing, is this listing worth improving? I am not really making bad buys anymore, because I'm buying the things that I know with every best intention based on my 8 years plus of reselling. I know that these are things that are going to sell. I'm buying Zara palettes and I'm selling Zara. I'm buying formal dresses and I'm selling formal dresses. I'm buying new tags things and I'm selling new tags things. So I know what I'm trying to source. I know based on my track record, this is a good buy. So for me, I'm skipping this step as a seasoned reseller, because I know that what I'm buying are the right things. But if you are newer, or if you're just a, full-time person or seasoned person that still makes bad buys, then you may want to consider this step before you start in. So that's step 1. The second one is keywords. Keywords. I talk about it all the time. I have a keywords list in my best value bundle. I share different keywords tips on my Instagram all the time. These are crucial to making sales on Poshmark. There's 2 things: sharing and keywords. There's lots of other things that come after that, but the 2 foundational things in my book are sharing and keywords. Keywords get you pulled into a search. Someone searches red wool coat, you have red wool coat in your keywords, you come up in their search. Sharing gets you to the top of the search so that someone doesn't have to scroll down a lot to find you. So keywords are very important, and if you don't have the right ones, you're not going to get pulled into most of the searches. So again, with the red wool coat, I have an Instagram post on this. If someone is looking for red wool coat and you just have red coat, but you don't have the word wool, you are not going to get pulled into that search. And so that gives you 100% guaranteed you are not going to make that sale. If you have wool in your keyword list there in your title or in your description, then you are included in that search. You are now one of the people that this buyer is potentially considering and move on to the next step, right? So you need to have these keywords, and keywords happen all the time. Like maybe when you first start, you don't know all the keywords. So you put listings up and you're missing things. You can go back now and add a keyword today, and that could make it sell 20 minutes later. You could go back into a listing and add a keyword today and it could sell tomorrow. So adding keywords always works. The trick is, do you have more keywords to add, right? Like there's always improvements that even I can make because my virtual assistant does my listings for me. So she does a very good job, but there's always things that she misses. And so sometimes I'll go in and add the keywords. Sometimes I'll wait and see if it sells without them. And then later, if it doesn't sell, I'll go in and add keywords. So I'm in a constant practice of adding keywords to listings because I know that it can literally help it sell overnight if that's what somebody is searching for. So I do have other videos about keywords. I do research on crazy keywords. I have top keywords. I have all kinds of keyword information for you. So check all of that out. Keywords are important. And also think about the multiple ways you can say a keyword. So if it is athletic, can you add workout, athleisure, and maybe even lounge, depending on what it is? You know, sports. There are lots of ways. So if somebody's looking for a sports bra, but someone might call it an athletic top, like I'm just looking at one because I have it on my clothing rack over here. So you just need to think about what are the other ways that people say it. This comes up with color all the time. So like if it's a wine color, it could also be Merlot, burgundy. Like there are other names that people call this thing, this color. And even though maybe none of us are right because Pantone says it's blah, 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 whatever, we are all in our regular like layperson vernacular where we don't know what we're talking about, are talking about this thing and we're calling it all something different. So if you have all those keywords in there, you're hitting all those kinds of people. So just think about that when you're doing your keywords. And in this part of adding keywords to listings, think about all the ways that you can say it. Because if you're in a listing and you're adding keywords, you might as well add 10 if you were going to go in there and add 5. There's no limit, right? So you just, as long as you stay within your character limit, you can add them in your title, you can add them in your description, and these help your item get pulled into a search. So that was number 2, keywords. Third one is add a buyer confidence line and photo to your listings. So if you guys go to my closet, you will see this. My closet on Poshmark is on my rack. And if you go, you will see that pretty much, unless my VA missed it, on all listings, the last photo is an infographic that we just made in Canva with words, and we saved it as a photo and uploaded it. And I am, whether it's happened already or will happen, I have a video coming out about how to do that because people ask that all the time, so stay tuned for that. But adding an infographic that just basically says, you know, offers welcome, like for price drops, ship same next day, professional seller with my logo is just very basic, but it's a nice touch that ends your photos listing, and it gives buyers confidence that you are a professional seller, that you are going to do what they think you're going to do. You're going to ship same or next day. You know, tell them that. If you're a professional seller and you steam all of your items, tell them that. Like, this is a way to set yourself apart as a seller. And so if someone is looking for that red wool coat and a bunch of people come up in this red wool coat search and they've searched for it and they've liked a few and they're kind of making their buying decision, they may choose to buy from you because you're setting yourself apart through your photos, through your title and description, and through your infographic that gives them confidence. Like, there's a lot to be said for that. And so if you're going in and improving listings, I highly recommend having this infographic, and not only that, having it in words in your description. So I have like a listing template, and it has copy and paste information that goes into each listing. And one of those lines, it says, ship same next day, professional seller offers welcome, bundle and save. And like, that's the last thing in my description. That's what, if the buyer is reading the description, that's the last thing they'll read. And that's a nice touch again, because some people are photos people, so they'll catch it in the photos if you do the sign. Some people are text people and they will read it but not look at the photos. You want to have it in both places so you can catch both people. You probably won't be able to see it, but This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it. I want to make you aware of the hottest, the best deal I have ever offered in my Rebecca the Reseller Academy. To find it, all you have to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom and you will find this right here. Hot deal, best value, all courses and digital downloads for life. This is it, friends. This is as good as it's going to get. I'm giving you everything I have in my academy, all the digital downloads, all the courses for just $20. The best part is if I create a new digital download going forward, you will get it absolutely free. This is the time to lock in the best deal I have ever offered. All you have to do is go to Rebecca the Reseller Academy, scroll down to Hot Deal, and purchase it for $20. If you're wondering what comes in this, it's everything. So you're going to get all of my courses, and you're also going to get all of the digital downloads that I've created, including my keywords list, my listing forms, my Poshmark closet signs. Everything that I have created and everything that I ever will create will be yours for literally $20. But anyway, so it's not like this is guaranteed to make your item sell, but I really feel strongly about setting yourself apart as a seller and making the difference in that squishy space where someone's deciding who to buy from or what's the best deal. Some people just decide on price, but not everyone does. Some people have been burned by sellers on Poshmark in the past and just need to buy the coat and want the coat to show up on time exactly the way they think it's going to show up. And by you doing this, that can help them with that buying decision. So you want to do things to get you involved in their buying decision, but then you also want to convert and close the deal. And I feel like this is one of those things that helps me as a seller close the deal with buyers. So that's number 3, buyer confidence line in your description and as a photo. Now, the next one is doing a photo review. And I talk about this in my Poshmark 30-day reboot course, which is included in the best value bundle if you do purchase that for $20. So you get everything. But the photo review is basically taking an objective look at your photos and saying, are there improvements that I can make here? This is something that I do when I do a coaching call or when I do a Poshmark closet review for people, is I'm looking at several listings, looking at the photos and saying, do I need to improve my cover photo? Are there things that I can do? Do I need to take more photos because I'm not showing enough photos, and so someone isn't buying because they can't get a good enough feel for this item in that it is what they think it is, and then they can go ahead and buy it. Because sometimes as a buyer, I will see people with 2 photos and I'm like, I can't make a decision on if I want to buy this item just based on your 2 photos. And if they're not good on top of it, then I really can't. So a cover photo is your video thumbnail. It's your first impression. And so the keywords get you pulled into the search, the sharing gets you to the top of the search, but now your cover photo is the thing that's going to determine if they click on you or not to look at your listing further, or if they're going to like on it to look at it later. That's what I do. I look at all the cover photos, I like things, and then I go back to my likes and I kind of peruse from there the details. Everyone does things differently when they buy, and you want to sell to as many buyers in the different ways that they buy as possible. So your cover photo needs to be good. Now, if your cover photo is dialed in and you know that it's centered and there's white space around it and it's hung nicely and it gives a professional feel, then ignore that part. But then look into the rest of your photos and say, am I taking enough photos? Am I showing the right things? Am I giving the buyer confidence that I'm showing them everything there is to know about this item so they can make a good buying decision? Am I taking photos of the tags and can they read them? Some people, they're blurry, they're upside down. There's just a lot of mistakes that happen with photos that if you can go back and objectively look at your photos and say, can I fix up all of these things? Are there things that I can improve upon? That is really going to help. That will help with sales. You may not be able to pinpoint exactly, but I know that will help with sales because I have seen in my buying how I gravitate, and I've seen that I do really well and I take good photos. So I think that it's important. The next one, number 5, is measurements. I have been, on and off the track of should I do measurements or not. I have experimented with it multiple times in my 8+ years of reselling, and I just keep coming back to doing them because I see that sales suffers when I don't have them. I get lots of questions for them when I don't have them, and that makes me upset. That bugs me, and I don't keep my items at home. I have a storage unit. So I can't just run to the storage unit every 2 seconds to take measurements of something because Sally Pants wants to know what the inseam is. So I would rather bake it into my process, which is very quick, dialed in, and highly efficient at this point. After 8 years, I know exactly what to do. My system's set up and I jam everything out. And so measurements, it's easier for me to just include it in what I do, have them there so that I can give this buyer something I say all the time: every reason to buy and no reasons not to buy. So if they're in the middle of the night and they are on a time crunch for buying this item and they want to know what the inseam is, they're not going to ask you in the middle of the night and wait for your response. They need to buy those immediately because they need them to come and they need to get these pants for whatever reason. Lots of people are on time crunches with items. Poshmark VA is a tax-deductible business investment that pays for itself many times over each month. It increases Poshmark sales because it shares and sends offers more than I ever could manually. It handles all my shares, automatic offer to likers, bulk offers, and it can do price drops and relists. When my coaching clients add Poshmark VA, it makes more sales basically immediately. The best part is that you get your time back. More time with family, thrifting, whatever. Get 20% off with code Rebecca the Reseller and the link below. So I do think that giving them all the information up front so that they can just make the decision to buy without you being involved is the right thing to do and is the most efficient thing to do and leads to the most amount of sales as possible. So giving the people measurements and letting them do with it what they need to, I think helps with sales, and that's why I recommend it. The last one, number 6, is to recheck the comps and potentially reprice your item. So if you have an item, it's been listed for 6 months, a year, whatever, and it hasn't sold and you've done all these other things, the last thing I would do is check into your price. Now this could be if you want the first thing you do, because repricing is a fast and easy thing to do. So if you don't want to do all that other work, you could just go in and see if it's a price issue. But I put it last because I feel like these other things really do help your item sell. They really do improve the listing. And so if you had it priced high and you do all these other things, it might sell at the higher price before you may need to go in and lower it. Sometimes you need to make it higher, but I think doing the exercise of if it's been listed for a long time and you can set up whatever criteria for yourself, 6 months I go in and I check my items for pricing, recheck the comps, see if they've gotten higher, see if they've gotten lower. You never know. You might have been way off in the beginning. You might have priced it high and now it's tanked and so you need to reprice it lower. Or maybe it's gotten better, so you need to reprice it. Like, you just don't know. Maybe you were just off. Maybe when you put the listing up, you didn't check comps to begin with. So it's a good exercise, and I do it from time to time because if I'm sourcing the same Zara stuff over and over again, I'm not checking comps over and over again. I know what works. I know where I put my pricing formula, and I just do it. But every once in a while, if something hasn't sold, I may go in and be like, oh, you know, those Zara coats, some of these are sitting, not getting as much as I used to for them, and now I'm checking the comps again and they have kind of gone down, so I really should reprice. I can't list this Zara coat at $100 anymore. It really needs to be listed at like $75, $80 so that it can sell for $40, and that's gonna have to be the way it is. So sometimes you need to go in and do that. And I think all of these steps should be taken before you say this item is stale and I need to pull it and redonate it. I've done lots of videos on what to do with stale inventory, but the goal is always to sell this item. And so it's easier and faster for you to even make these improvements before you pull this item out of your inventory and then go donate it or sell it some other way. I think you should work on improving listings. And I do this as a regular rotating thing as part of the tools in my toolbox, as I revise listings all the time. So I hope that you found a nugget of truth, a nugget that you can work on in this list. I've got always lots of videos for you, lots of resources here. I'd love your comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!